Welcome to The Edge of NFT, the podcast that brings you the top 1% of Web3 today and what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts of the business side and also the human element of how Web3 is changing the way we interact with the things we love. This podcast is for the dreamers, disruptors, and doers who are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
A quick word from our sponsors who's ready to navigate the cutting edge of tomorrow's legal landscape. Because at Zuber Lawler, they're not just attorneys, they're visionaries. With expertise in emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, and the metaverse, they're paving the way for you to seize the future. For mergers and acquisitions to IP, their selective team delivers strategic solutions tailored to the ever-changing world of technology. Join us at Zuber Lawler, where the future meets the law at zuberlawler.com. Back to the episode.
All right, hey everyone, Richard Carthon here, and I'm live at Token 2049. And this episode is part of the Dubai Roadshow series that is sponsored by Bitlayer, so really appreciate that sponsorship. But as always, it's great to meet amazing people that are building in this space, and I've had the opportunity to meet some great people over at Coinstore, Saeed specifically, but I am now getting to speak with Ramesh with Coinstore. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Richard, for inviting me to your show. It's a pleasure to be in Dubai. Dubai has always been promising for Web3. Such a great event in Token 2049, and so good to see you, Richard.
Yes.
And thank you for such a wonderful introduction. Yeah,
I definitely appreciate it. So, one of the things that we kind of want to dive into is, with everything going on with Coinstore, tell everyone a little bit more about, the activation that you have here at Token 2049 and how are people starting to engage with Coinstore?
Yeah, so Coinstore, this is our 40th event, International Expo event, which we are participating. We have been around in this ecosystem for more than 3.5 years now, and our headquarters is in Singapore, and we've got more than 7 million users. Dubai is always been our hotspot, okay, and we just got registered in Dubai. However, we are exploring more in setting up our operations very soon in Dubai. But yes, we have our operation in Singapore. We also have our operations in Malaysia. And so Dubai, great to see more than 8,000 people already here in Token 2049. So this itself, it's a promising sign, while we have Bitcoin halving already due very soon.
Yeah. It's right around the corner, and just being here, being in this atmosphere with all of these people, you can feel how excited people are to be back in more bullish territory. And being able to expand to a place like Dubai and the Mena region, what is so amazing about being able to bring Coinstore to this region of the world?
Yeah. One of the top reason is the talent. There are so many Web3 partners, infrastructure, tools, all operating from Mena region. And Mena region, the regulatory, it's quite clear right now. And I can see they're also implementing many regulations in terms of how we can operate the Web3 infrastructure here in Mena. So this is one of the reasons why Coinstore is looking more positive to expand our operations in Mena, and especially in Middle East countries, okay, like Riyadh and Bahrain and other Saudi countries.
Yeah, definitely. And we at Edge Up has been spending more time out here, getting ready to do Outer Edge Riyadh, and just looking more at what's happening here in the Mena. And it's an area that definitely needs a lot of focus and attention, and the atmosphere here is way more open to Web3 and the adoption and being able to be blockchain forward. And that part's been really cool to see in real time. But as Coinstore has been expanding and looks out to the rest of 2024, what are some things on the horizon that people should be looking out for?
Right. So 2024, of course, we have our own roadmap. Currently, we are at 7 million users. This year, we are planning to achieve more than 10 million users. That is our nearest, the milestone which we will achieve. And plus, we already have 700 aspiring Web3 projects listed with Coinstore. We are planning to at least onboard more than 1,500 partners this year. So with Bitcoin halving and like the bullish sentiment in the market, I'm sure that it will really help us to penetrate in major emerging markets. And since we are already strong in Southeast Asia, where 60% of users are all trading actively on Coinstore, I'm sure that we will explore some of these emerging markets, especially Africa, Europe, and Mena and APAC region, so that we can onboard our nearest milestone, that is 10 million plus users. And so this is something we are focusing very high, and we also have multiple services. As you can see, we are not only, as a Coinstore, we are not only doing spot listing, but you can see we are also doing futures trading, we are doing launchpad, we are doing earn feature. So there are many services which we are offering to our partners and also users, so that end users can get benefit of a centralized exchange. So we are trying our best.
No, and I think that the roadmap sounds amazing. Of course, getting more users is always a great first step into continue to build out your platform. But all these, again, amazing features that you have, from earning launchpad and everything else. I go to a lot of these different conferences, and a lot of people are always looking for these different things. And so obviously being able to say, hey, Coinstore, go check them out, see what's happening with them, it's a great reference point. But Coinstore as a team is growing. Y'all are continuing to do a lot of great things to have Coinstore be at the forefront of everything happening here in the MENA region and all the other places that you said. For people that are wanting to either be part of the Coinstore team or wants to figure out how they can come and partner with Coinstore, what are some of those first steps that they can take?
Yeah, so this is something which we have already doing it. Our foundation is very strong. The foundation of Coinstore, the management of the Coinstore. So if you look at our team size, we are more than 200 plus full-time employees working with Coinstore. So you name the country, you will find Coinstore employees there. So we have a team in Singapore, which is our headquarters. We have a team in Malaysia. We have a team in Dubai. We have a team in Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines. We also have a team in Europe. So unlike other exchanges, Coinstore, we believe in a long-term partnership. So all our potential partners, they can actually meet, they can shake hands with us, they can rub the shoulders with all our potential partners, and we are providing a lot of value-add services to our clients. Not only just services, okay, not only just listing, but we also help them in planning the strategy to achieve their goals, to achieve their milestones, to solve their problems.
Yeah, and being solution focused helps a lot with being able to help with all those different solutions that you provide. So definitely appreciate all that information. For all those listening who can't be with us here at this amazing experience here at Tokens 2049, where can they go learn more about Coinstore?
So you can check the website. You can download the website, www.coinstore.com. You can also download the app on App Store and Play Store. Yeah, so
excellent.
Great.
We'll definitely appreciate your time. Thanks for letting us know more information about this. And
thank you, Richard. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And now for a quick word from our sponsor before we dive into the next segment. Are you ready to take your sports predictions to the next level? Look no further than maincard.io, the fantasy management platform that's taking the blockchain world by storm. With Maincard, every card is a ticket to excitement. You can predict sport outcomes, trade cards in the marketplace, and challenge opponents in thrilling weekly duels. And don't wait. Head to maincard.io now and start earning rewards with your NFTs, because it pays to be early. And now back to today's episode.
Hey everyone, I'm here at the Bitlayer event here at My Golf in Dubai. There's actually a virtual golf course right behind you, which is pretty awesome. I'm here with Jason Denny with Cred Bull. I'm here to learn a little bit more about what's going on here. So pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first I'll learn a little bit about you. Tell me about how you even got into Web3 in the first place.
Sure. Well, I spent 17 years in TradFi. I was primarily in asset management, private banking, SME lending. And, I was working in Hong Kong at the time. I was CEO of an insurance and asset management company. And, the more senior you got in TradFi, the more disillusioned you become at how rigged the system is. And I discovered crypto and DeFi back in 2015, and I never looked back since, because I just saw the opportunity of how to fix some of the issues that we encountered in TradFi around access, around, just kind of depriving the average person the privileges and the opportunities that the ultra-rich and institutions get on a daily basis. So for me, I've never looked back since 2015.
That's awesome. I also started in traditional finance, and I was in wealth management, and it broke my heart to see that there were so many ways that the rich could stay rich, and nothing was being taught to your layman person or could have access. And I saw crypto as that opportunity to bridge that, and it sounds like you also saw that. So as you then see about all these different tools, how does your journey go from learning about this in 2015 to then now being part of Cred Bull here in 2024?
Yeah, so Cred Bull is I think of it as a kind of a Web 2.5. It takes what is traditionally an exclusive asset class like such a private credit and democratizes it. We recently launched the very first licensed on-chain private credit fund. So we offer various high fixed yield products and also the opportunity to participate in the performance of the fund. Now, this fund is not tokenized RWA, it is decentralized RWA, meaning that where you look at, most all actually tokenized funds, there still is centralized opaque funds. You still you have no transparency into how the funds are managed. And when you look at kind of active fund management, it's a $100 trillion asset class. 85% of active managers underperform their own index every single year. So we wanted to not tokenize the fund because that only really addresses kind of operational efficiency. We wanted to decentralize the fund, meaning that there's full governance by the investors, by the lenders into the fund, on strategy, on risk controls, on capital deployment, both on-chain and off-chain in real time and real-time performance. And everything is visible. So there is no opaqueness. There's no limitation as to who can participate in the fund. We provide broad access to the entire market, the same terms and conditions that an institutional investor would get. A retail investor would have exactly the same.
That is amazing for many reasons. A quick little antidote. I knew someone who tried to do something similar, but not quite, where they were being, like the biggest word for me on that was transparency and being able to follow everything. Because there were funds that were set up that I'm going to guarantee you 8% or whatever it was. And then they happened, unfortunately, to go pretty heavy into Terra Luna. When Terra Luna happened, the fund basically went belly up and people didn't get their money back. Obviously, if you could have had more transparency, easy way to negate that. So not just doing that, but also having everything else involved, I'm sure gives a lot of your investors a lot of peace of mind.
It's interesting you say that because I lost a lot of money in a active management fund, which is supposed to be deploying a certain strategy and end up going into Luna. And actually, it might be the same fund that you're in. And so I had no visibility into how the fund was being managed. So for us, especially with private credit, it's criticized as being an opaque asset class. So we want to take the veil off of it and just, make sure that one, there is engagement and approval by the community on how we actually deploy the capital, and there's full transparency on the execution of it. So, this is for us it's again, it pushes the boundaries of RWA not being tokenized. It has to be decentralized. It's time for us to think about decentralization around access, around transparency, around liquidity, and around broader access. Right now, a lot of tokenized RWAs don't address those issues. They only address operational efficiency, and that's not DeFi.
It's not. And I like that you're addressing all of those because they're all important. But by going for more decentralization and having that be at the forefront as the anchor, I think it's also going to be, as you said, a 2.5, right? So it's for someone coming from traditional finance over, it's not as scary, but for a hardcore Web3 person too, they're like, I resonate with that.
Yeah. And look, there's we have various features to our product offering. Our proposition is that it's high fixed yield, so 10% fixed, as well as 30% participation in the performance. The target yield, gross yield of the fund is 18 to 20%. So you have 10% fixed as your base, and then potentially another 3% on top of that. It's entirely non-correlated to crypto. So we are an asset allocator to SME lending platforms, the fintechs, who specialize in SME lending. So we allocate to very established, highly audited platforms that we have relationships with, and they invest in credit-worthy SMEs. That allows us broad diversification. Actually, in the full deployment of the fund, it could be over 1.5 million SME transactions over the course of the year. Wow. And that can be all visible depending on your appetite to go through them. Every single transaction is visible back on chain through off-chain oracles. But also for retail, we actually also gamify it a little bit because we want to engage the community to learn about different investment strategies, about different, like basic financial literacy in a way. So we gamify it, we reward points for engaging and so forth, and they get rewarded with our utility token. And they can, with yield and token reward, it could exceed 30%. Right. So for us is, yes, you've got your traditional investment solutions for your institutional and accredited, but really what we're focusing on, this is why it's so attractive for us to be involved with Bitlayer, is that we fundamentally believe in the principles of DeFi, which is around transparency, governance, access, liquidity. And right now, we've sort of forgotten that narrative.
Yes.
And certainly that's why I got into crypto, and this is why I didn't like being in traditional finance. So I'm holding on to those principles and bringing DeFi back to RWA.
Yeah, I love it. People who weren't necessarily coming from the traditional finance got their first taste of DeFi summer, and it's kind of gone to the wayside because good principles weren't put in place. And it sounds like Cred Bull is trying to address a lot of those, but also looking at one of the best asset classes out there, Bitcoin, and being able to do a lot on top of that, which is what Bitlayer is doing. So what does that cross-collaboration look like right now for Cred Bull and Bitlayer?
To be honest with you, we're super excited about it because, Bitcoin, Bitlayer is a L2 bit built on Bitcoin, and it's about liquidity and it's about decentralization. So for us, we have we're actually designing some really cool products that I can't talk about right now, but that will come out in early next year. Okay. That let's just say I would fundamentally kind of alter the makeup of how you draw liquidity on RWA. Yeah. And I think that's really cool. And that's right now what's needed is that the big piece that's missing in RWA is how do you actually make it more liquid? And we're working really hard to solve that right now.
Yeah, it's a tough one to crack, but once it's cracked, man, it excites me. So I can't wait to see that ultimately ends up. But looking across the rest of 2024 at the time of this recording, halving's happening tomorrow. So what are you looking forward to as you look at the rest of the year?
There's a lot of really cool things happening, a lot of innovation. To be honest with you, I focus more on, being here in Dubai at Token 2049. I met so many really great projects, so many great innovators, thinkers, collaborators. I'm super excited about the RWA narrative and where it's going. It is not it's not a cyclical narrative. This is a narrative that's going to be building over time. And it's going to be a dominant sector within DeFi. And what I mean by DeFi is more decentralizing RWA. And that's what I'm really excited about. We are launching various products to align with that. We're focused on our own TGE in June and lots of really cool activations with retail that's coming. And there's some great collaboration happening across the ecosystem right now. And, walking away from this conference, aside from the challenging weather we've had, it's actually, I've learned a lot of, what's going to be driving the market and what's going to be driving the market. It's not going to be kind of Wall Street using blockchain technology, which has been the case, with, BTC ETFs and Larry Fink kind of tokenizing his funds. Right. It's been driven by Wall Street. We need to take that narrative back and have the narrative be driven by Web3 of focusing on decentralization, focusing on access, focusing on liquidity. And there's a lot of really cool stuff that's happening right now that will start to come to market second half of this year.
I love that you bring that up. It's this conversation I've had with a lot of friends where, like, when does that moment happen? And I think this is the cycle where we finally see that happen. So I also agree with what you said on that. But, Jason, this has been great getting to learn a lot about this. For people listening, how can they learn more about Cred Bull?
Visit our website, credbull.io. Follow us on Twitter, Cred Bull DeFi. And we'll be sharing a lot more about our product offering in the coming weeks as well.
Excellent. Well, definitely appreciate your time today. And everybody keep listening and watching Cred Bull.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed on Edge of NFT reflect solely those views and opinions of the show hosts and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of those links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.